Okay, today we're covering Chapter 4, Algebra, Equations, and Inequalities. A very important chapter as the rest of the semester will build upon it, so please take your time, make sure you get the concepts down. The first section that we'll cover is 4.1, which is Algebraic Expressions and Formulas. It's A because we're only going to be covering the first out of the four objectives that are in this section. And that first objective is to evaluate algebraic expressions. Um, let's review. Algebra uses letters to represent numbers, and we call those letters variables, often x and y. An algebraic expression is a combination of variables and numbers using the operations of addition, subtraction, multiplication or division, as well as powers or roots. So examples of algebraic expressions. We have an addition of a variable and a number. We have subtraction of a variable with a power and a number. We have multiplication of a number and a variable. Remember, if there's no symbol, you don't see a symbol between two things, and it means multiplication. And then we have another addition example. This time the variable is a root, and then we have a number being added to it. Okay, the next thing that we need to remember about algebraic expressions is our order of operations. So we're going to go talk about those. Perform your operations within the innermost parentheses and work outwards. So you start with the inside and work out. If the algebraic expression involves a fraction, remember the numerator and the denominator, treat them as if they were each enclosed in parentheses. Then you evaluate all exponential expressions. Then you're going to perform any multiplications and divisions as they occur, and additions and subtractions. Now remember that multiplication and division, addition and subtraction, you always work in order from left to right. You do not go and do all the multiplication before the division. You have to look at how it's set up in your problem. And as you can see from what's highlighted, the first letter of each of these, hopefully you remember the mnemonic device to remember your order of operations, which is oftenly referred to as PEMDAS or Please Excuse My Dear Aunt Sally, whichever one helps you remember. Okay, so the first example we have, this is an algebraic expression, okay? We have addition, we have multiplication, we have subtraction, we have an exponent. There is no equals, that's why it's an expression. We're going to plug in x equal to 6. So the first thing you're going to do is take that expression, and instead of x, you're going to put 6. When you do these problems in your classwork, this is the most important step that you must show me to show your work. I do not have a problem if you want to put that in your calculator like that and you can get it correct. However, if you want to show me the work, I will go through this and talk to you. Okay, you put your number in for your variable. You work from the inside out, so I'm going to simplify inside the parentheses. 6 minus 4 is 2. Then I'm going to evaluate the exponential expression. 2 to the third power is 8. And then I'm going to do my multiplication, multiply 5 times 8 to get 40, and then simplify and add to get 47 as my final answer. Okay? Another example, again, we're going to, wherever we see an x, this time our x is equal to negative 6. And I can't tell you enough, it's so important that you put parentheses around this, especially when you have an exponent. So anytime you're substituting in a negative number, you need to remember those parentheses. Again, this is the absolute minimum step that you must put down to show your work. Then you can simplify according to your order of operations, or you can put that straight in your calculator and get an answer of 3. The last example, sometimes you have two variables, so you got to be careful. Wherever we see an x, we're going to put in a 4, and wherever I see a y, I'm going to put in negative 2. Now, notice again, negative 2 has parentheses around it because it affects your operations. Again, you may put that in your calculator. If your calculator can handle it, put that in your calculator just like that. Otherwise, your order of operations is to do your exponents since there's nothing inside parentheses to simplify. Do your exponents, do your multiplication, and then add and subtract, and you get negative 64 for your final answer. So you got your work to do. If you have any questions, make sure that you cross out the answers as you work through your problems. And if you don't find the answer, come see me.